Hello everybody and welcome back to Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson, and today I want to give a huge thank you to all of you wonderful people that have subscribed to my channel and enjoy watching my videos about my journey with all my different plants in my homes. I am so thankful for all your support and for all your messages and your questions and your ideas of what I can make for videos and, well, keeping my channel alive, because without all of you and without your subscriptions and without you watching my videos, well, a YouTube channel cannot go anywhere, right? So I am so thankful for that, and because of that I decided to get you all a bunch of beautiful roses. Look at these beautiful roses. These are my thank you to all of you out there. I am really so grateful for all your support. Over 4,000 subscribers now, and my channel is growing and growing and growing, and I find it so much fun. I really do enjoy making these videos for all of you. I love doing stuff with my plants, so I figured, why not share that with the world? Why not encourage other people to enjoy plants, and those that don't have many plants that just like watching what others do with plants? Well, this is for you too. So my little rose bunch here is a thank you to all of you wonderful people. Look at them closer. Oh, beautiful pink and white roses. I love them. So in this extra special thank you video to all of my wonderful subscribers, I actually have been out and raided the rack today and came home with 2 new beautiful plants that I want to show you. And the first one is hiding behind me here. So I want to show you what it is, and then I'm going to try and figure out where I want to put it in my indoor terrace garden behind me here. So there will be a little bit of fast forward while I move around plants and try and find a nice space for it. Just so you know, I went out and raided the rack, got these plants. They've been thoroughly sprayed over with neem oil and dishwasher liquid, and they've dried and they look beautiful. I've studied them, doesn't seem to be anything on them, but with any new plant that you bring home, there is a possibility of bugs being in there somewhere. It's actually 100% certainty there will be something or other, or in the soil. So just keep an eye on a new plant when you bring it in, spray it off. If it's something smaller, you can go and take it into the bathroom, hose it all down, and then spray it off with neem oil and dishwasher liquid or whatever else you have, just so that you have a good chance of that plant not spreading anything to other plants. But I've done that, so let's get on and have a look at the first wonderful plant I brought home to show all of you wonderful supporters. Thank you. This is it. This is my beautiful plant that has to be at least 1 meter and 30 centimeters tall, because I'm not much taller than that, and this plant is getting up to, well, it's up to my shoulder, so it's got to be at least 1 meter 30 centimeters or so. This beautiful and wide plant, tall plant, look at it, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I want to cuddle it. This is the beautiful Dracaena'Janet lind, and this is a very easy to care for plant if you want to have a plant in a situation that is not very bright, so medium to low light. You can keep this plant in a corner somewhere where you really have been struggling to find something to be in that corner, and it will survive fine. Of course, it does like bright and direct light like any other plant, but definitely no bright direct light because you will burn out these leaves. They are a plain green colour, absolutely gorgeous. Here I have, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 or 8 stems are in this pot because they're thin stems. They've been put in together to make this beautiful bush of a plant. This is a plant that comes from East Africa, but it can also be found in South America and Asia and places like that. But again, just like other Dracaenas, let it dry out between waterings and you'll have a happy plant. Don't oversaturate it. Don't let it dry out too long either because it doesn't like that too much. So here I just want to plot in a close-up of all the beautiful leaves on this lovely plant. Look how rich and green they are. And they're long and shiny, well, a kind of matte shiny colour to them. And it says that they are kind of a little bit variegated. It's very difficult to see. They're mostly just green looking to me, but very beautiful. And all the stems are wonderful. And it really does fill out the corner of my indoor terrace garden here wonderfully. So I'm so pleased that I actually chose to bring this gorgeous plant home with me today. In the background here, I have another Dracaena fragrans. This is Jade Jewel. And I have another one down here. This is Dracaena fragrans Lemon Lime. So I do have a variety of different kinds of Dracaenas. I actually have another Dracaena fragrans behind the camera that has been my husband's plant for many, many years. We know that plant is at least 20-something years old. It was a cutting from his mother's plant, and she made many cuttings from that plant. And when we had it, it grew up like a palm right up to the ceiling, and I had to go back and prune it down. I made more plants, and I've kept a piece that is about up to here now. So that shows you how easy it is to go in and do stuff with Dracaenas also. If you want to prune back, the top part of that stem will flush out new leaves. You could put the new stem in some soil, and it will grow into a new plant. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this plant because now I need to figure out, I'm wondering if I want to put it in the corner here so that I have some green up against the wall in the corner, or if I want to put it where I have my Monstera Deliciosa here, I want to move this plant and put it there so I have more green going up in the middle there. Or I was thinking I might want to put it in this corner where I have my other Dracaena, Jade Jewel. We'll figure it out. So let's go to fast forward and have a little look of this plant in this corner over here, because I think this is where I'm going to want to put it. So let me get on with this. So for now, I've got my beautiful Janet Lind Dracaena here, and I have my Zamioculcas zamiofolia, the green form, in the corner there. But I'm wondering if I should move it around and put the Dracaena in the corner and the ZZ plant next to it here. So I'm just going to switch around and see how that looks first. So now I have my Dracaena fragrans Janet Lind in the corner here, taking up the side, and that is in the back part of the room where it's quite dark, but I do have a grow light, spreading light up from the bottom there, and I do have these lamps by the side. So the plants in this corner have been doing fine. That's not a problem, but I know it's a plant that can take a shadier situation, so it's going to be fine there. And then I have my ZZ plant here, but at some point I will probably switch that out for a plant that is slightly higher there so that I can build up more of a green wall at the back here between my beautiful plants. I mean, I love my Scindapsus Pictus Exotica. It's all the way up to the ceiling and it is just amazing for me. I don't want to put anything that's going to be too big in front of my own painting here. I want to see the figures, and I have my Scindapsus Treebine Moonlight here coming up, flanking this side of the painting, and I really hope that is going to fill out more during the summer here. And I have a huge variety of beautiful plants here. They're all doing really well. My Raphidophora tetrasperma has actually started to flush out more new leaves this season, so I'm really happy about that. A whole new leaf has come out of the top, and that is really nice. It's thinned out the bottom, and that is why at some point I would like another plant instead of this Dracaena fragrans Jade Jewel in the front. I want something that's a little bit thicker so that you can't see all of the bare stems and the stake at the bottom of my Raphidophora tetrasperma there. And also my Philodendron hederaceum has lovely leaves at the bottom still, but it's thinned out at the top. And I'm going to be pruning that all the way down to where the leaves are growing out and taking away the top part of my stake. Because when I made those totems, those stakes, I actually put different stakes that I bought into each other and made it that tall myself. I didn't buy them like this. so I can just prune back my plant and take out the extra pieces of the stakes, and it will be a nice height and it will look like the plant is happy and healthy without the rest of it that's bare, making it look like it's not doing very well. I found that in my indoor terrace garden, it is not bright enough to sustain a lot of this upward growth for my plants that I've really wanted. So a way to get around that is to do the same as I've done with the new Dracaena over here, is elevate it with sideboards, tables and things like that. Then you can put plants of different heights around and still get the height up to the top of the ceiling or as much as you want, and put things in front as here, have a sideboard here with smaller plants, put a picture, fill out so that you don't just have a white wall, build it up as you go along. So that's what I'm thinking of doing over here as well. I'm hoping eventually I'll be able to find another kind of Scindapsus that will be able to be as tall to stand over there, and that's even closer to the window, so it should do really well. I just was so lucky when I bought this Scindapsus Pictus Exotica. It was it was around to this level down here. It's grown an extra metre or two. I actually had to prune it back because it was growing along the top of the wall here as well, but it thinned out. So again, my plants can't sustain this growing out. I also have my Monstera pinnatipatitum that some of you have been asking me to do a video on, which I will get round to at some point. It's grown out two long tendrils. I don't think you can see it in the frame here, but if I pull this, yeah, you can't see that. But there's a long tendril, a good 3 meters long on the one side and a good 1.5 meters on the other side, doing nothing, just growing and growing and growing, no leaves. I'm going to have to do a video at some point where I prune those off, and the rest of the plant is the same, maybe a couple of new leaves, but it's the same. I'm going to show you that in another video. But anyway, I've decided I'm going to leave this like this for now so that I can get on with the rest of my video, because I have another wonderful plant to show you, but that is not here in my indoor terrace garden. It is in my kitchen, and it's something very different, something I've never thought about before, seen before, but I'm going to give it a try, and I think it's going to be wonderful. So let's go and have a look at that. But first, smell the roses again, because I'm so thankful for you plus 4,000 subscribers. Oh, but before I do that, I actually want to show you another couple of plants in here, because you've been asking about a few different things. And I want to show you my Alocasia amazonica that went dormant, and I did a whole video about how it looked and how it started to grow out again, so you can go back and see that. This is what it looks like now. So here it is, my beautiful Alocasia amazonica that went completely dormant, and look how these leaves are flushed out again now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. Look at all of those. Aren't they gorgeous? And at the bottom, a new leaf coming out here, and a new leaf coming out here on this one too. So I just want to show you, if your plant goes dormant, do not throw it away. It could take months. This plant took months to grow out again, but they do bounce back, because look at this, and I am so pleased about this. Another plant a lot of you have been asking about is my Raphidophora tetrasperma, the one that grew out leaves that looked like dragonflies, or they were kind of deformed or turned into a different type. Well, each leaf propagation that I did has been taking a long time to do anything, and that's why I haven't done any specific video about this plant yet, but the leaves are still the same style. They've all got 2 or 3 lobes at the bottom and a long piece at the front or the top that looks like a dragonfly, every single one. Now this plant has had thrips on it and all sorts of things, so it's been a bit difficult for it, but look at the shape of these leaves. Aren't they the strangest Raphidophora tetrasperma leaves you've ever seen? So this plant is still hanging in there, it's got new shoots coming out, and we will just carry on seeing how it goes. Here I just want to show you that I've taken some new stem cuttings from my Scindapsus Pictus Exotica. I only did this 4 days ago, and I can see a root already coming out of one of them. So I'll be able to add these to this plant that I already made, and I did a video about that as well. These were the leaves that I left on the top of the soil propagation with nothing protecting them or anything, and they stayed like that for months but didn't do anything much. I put them in a plastic bag and then they took off, and look at them now. They're doing absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to add these to this pot at some point to make me an even bushier plant. But just look at all these gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. Easy to propagate. Anyway, no more show and tells for this video because otherwise it's going to get too long. I want to get on to the kitchen and show you the other plant I bought while I was out raiding the rat, and this time I mean it. Let's go. So everybody, looky here. Look at this beautiful tall plant behind me here. I was out and I hadn't seen one of these before, and I really thought this would be perfect as a centerpiece in my kitchen area here, where I have this white background and I needed something tall to put here so that when I make videos in my kitchen area with my table, I will have something as a backdrop, and this plant is going to be perfect because it's a plant that vines out. You can see tendrils growing here, there, and everywhere at the top, at the side. There's a long one here. And those tendrils going out like that means that I will be able to put some wiring at the top of the wall and around my kitchen and let this plant grow out like a grapevine. And that is a clue to its name. This is the beautiful Cissus rotundifolia, otherwise known as succulent grape. It has so many names because it does grow like a grapevine. It clings onto things. It grows these little side shoots that twist around, twigs and all sorts of stuff to keep it up and growing along anything that it can get its hands on. So this is beautiful. It's lush, it's green, it has these lovely, dark, thick leaves. They're very thick, so I'm hoping this plant will be insect tolerant as well, due to having thick leaves. They have a lovely round shape to them. You can see the veinage going on in them, and it is very, very interesting. Here, this plant is tied to a triangle of 3 bamboo stakes. On each stake, there are around about 4 separate vines. So there's quite a few different plants in this pot, which means I can have it growing up, growing along. I can even have some of the vines growing out on the sides on the wall here, so it kind of spreads out along the whole of this wall. That would be amazing, and I hope that's what's going to happen with this plant. So I am so pleased with this as a backdrop. The leaves and the little vines that come off at the side there, you can see the potential in this plant, and I'm sure you can all understand why I wanted to buy it. Something completely different. I've never had a cissus plant before, so this beautiful Cissus rotundifolia, absolutely amazing. So in this video already, I want to show you how I put the wiring up to be able to get this plant vining out. It's very simple. The first thing you need is some thin plastic wiring. So this is what I have, because when you put that up on the wall, it becomes near enough invisible. So when the vine is growing up and around it, you won't see that at all. It will look like the vine is just crawling along itself. So basically all you need is 2 hooks here, or rings, and you can tie the wiring around those, one on each end of the wall. If you have a hard wall, you're going to have to drill into the wall, put a plug in and put these in, but I have 2 soft walls at the end here, so I'll be able to screw these straight into the wall and put my wiring straight up. So let me get on with this in fast forward so we can get vining this plant up. That was the first hook in, number 2. This is so much fun, and I am so thankful for all of you 4,000 plus subscribers. That wasn't easy, but I found out I didn't actually need my ladder, but I will need that in a moment to put the wiring up. So that is the screw-on ends up. Now I just need to put the see-through wiring up, and then I will be ready to put the first vine up. I can't wait for this. So that is the wiring up. So now it's time to see if I can get some of the top tendrils up and on that first piece of wiring. I will be putting some more strips along with time, but for this video I will just stick to the one, and then we will see in the future when I make videos and this plant is in the background how it spreads out along the wall. So there we go. Already now you can see some of the structure starting to take shape. 2 tendrils at the top, and there are 2 more here that are waiting to have a piece of wire so they can crawl along there as well. This, I think, is just going to be amazing. I want to take you in now for a closer look so you can get to see the whole plant close up. These beautiful, lovely round leaves, the lovely colour, the lovely texture of the leaves, so that you maybe become inspired to go out and find yourself your own Cissus rotundifolia and make a beautiful wall collage of this beautiful, easy care, quick growing plant. This plant can tolerate shady areas. This plant likes bright, indirect light. This plant does not like bright light that is directly on it, and it will grow fast. It is drought tolerant. It doesn't like to be dry for too long, but it can dry out between waterings and it will do fine. Otherwise, let 2/3 of the soil dry out before you water it again. Never oversaturate it and never let it sit in water. It will rot out. So an easy care plant, well, that remains to be seen because this is a new plant for me too. Let's go in for that closer look. So I just want to start with 3 of my beautiful skulls down here at the bottom I've placed in front of this gorgeous plant. And here we go. You can see these leaves, and you can understand why it's called rotundifolia. That's because the leaves have this lovely round shape to them. And look at them. They're very thick, lush leaves. I love the shape. I love the form. I love the colour. I love the veining. I love the style. I love the texture. I love everything about this plant at the moment. I actually haven't seen this before. It's so unbelievable. But this, I look at this. I love the way it's going to vine out and that it grows all these tendrils so that it will be able to cling onto all the wires that I'll be putting on in different levels up and down the wall. And I hope I'm going to be able to get this to grow all the way around the top of my kitchen. I really do hope it's going to take off. I'm not going to be repotting this plant in any way. I will be leaving it in its nursery pot in the same soil. There's no need to be upsetting it in any way. And as you know, a good rule of thumb is to never repot a plant when you bring it home for the first week or 2 at least, if you want to do something else. And if you don't really need to, if you have a nice cash pole to put around the plastic pot, then just do that, because you will have a much greater success rate than fussing around with the roots and so forth when you bring a plant home. So just let your plant acclimatize and you will be fine. But I just love this green against this white backdrop. This wall is going to be gorgeous. This is going to be a success. I can feel it. I know it. And I hope vines come out all the way up and down this plant so that I can have different layers of vines. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this plant closer up. That was 2 beautiful new plants I bought while I was out raiding the rack today. My beautiful Dracaena'Janet lind. Lovely green foliage plant, also a plant that does well in shady areas and easy care. And then this beautiful Cissus rotundifolia, lovely, beautiful plant, also easy care, also dark leaves, and I'm hoping it's just going to cover this white wall with a beautiful green collage of naturally looking vines that grow out everywhere, like a grapevine. So, my dear, fantastic, wonderful subscribers, I really want to say once again, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. And thank you so much for encouraging me to carry on making videos to keep you entertained, to brighten your day, to give you ideas, tips and tricks of what you can do, what kind of plants you can go out and buy, and to just get on and experiment with plants, because they're here to enjoy, they're here to have fun with, they're here to learn from, they're here to give you positive energy and brighten your day. And I love doing this, and I thank you 4,000 plus subscribers so much for getting me this far. Thank you. So all I have to say now is thank you very much for watching Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson. And for those that haven't subscribed, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell so you know when my next video will be coming up. And I will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.